Election Command Center, and this is the data center of your election command center, where we are collating the results coming in thick and fast from all 275 constituencies across all 16 regions. Our personnel here trained are putting together all the data. So far, out of the 275 constituencies, we have some 79 constituencies, which means that we have some 196 to go. And so far for the presidential, 52.45% for the NPP and 47.55% for the NDC, and these are provisional results, and we are still collating, we are still putting it together. The EC has assured that it will declare the results in 24 hours, and counting from yesterday 5 p.m. we're expecting that by 5 p.m. today we will be seeing some progress in announcing the results. But here at your election command center, we have 79 constituencies out of the 275 constituencies. For the parliamentary, we are still putting it together, but it does appear that in the Shanti region, which is the stronghold of the NPP, the NDC is making some inroads. So it does appear that the agenda 47 may not be working for the NPP this time around, because we told they've snatched another seat in that constituency. They are also calling for some recount, I think, in Asokwa, according to our correspondent in that constituency. Also, we are also picking indications that NDC seem to be snatching a few seats here and there that they lost in 2016. So we are still putting together the whole parliamentary results for the 275 constituencies. But so far, we can confirm the 79 constituencies out of the 275 constituencies. So let me take you through again. 52.45% in terms of presidential for the NPP and 47.55% for the NDC. 79 out of the 275 constituencies, 196 more to go. This is the data center of your election command center. You can see behind me our trained personnel putting together all the data that you need to know, and here is where to be as we keep you updated as we go along. And we've been here since the eve of the election, since Sunday, and we are keeping you updated. I want to say thank you to you for keeping with us and staying here with us, your election command center, as we keep you updated. So you can see our trained personnel are on the grounds putting together all the data you need to know. Let me mention again that so far we have 79 constituencies. Early days yet to call. 9 constituencies out of 205 constituencies. And so that's what we have here at your data center on your election command center. Now, I want to hand over to you as we still collate the figures here at the data center now.
Right. Thank you so much, Etonam, reporting from the data center there. You can see all that technological gadgets set up there, bringing us all the relevant data that we need, crunching the numbers right there. So we'll be wrapping up here with Mr. Ahin. He's the national coordinator of the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO. Mr. Ahin. Yeah. Interesting numbers coming in, developments coming in, the challenge in the Ayawaso West Wogan and all of that. Your concluding remarks?
Yeah, I think we all need to keep our fingers crossed, and the EC has to be very careful to handle these situations as they come. The situation is very tense, and I believe that they should be able to live up to expectation, so that we don't have anything untoward happening at the end of the day.
Very well.
We pray very hard for them. I would wish that they could deliver within the 24-hour period.
So our fingers are crossed.
Yes, your fingers are crossed, waiting for it.
Yes, for that. I mean, it's been back on back, monitoring and covering of this elections, and indeed, this is your help me out. I just forgot that I think I had a brain block.
That's okay.
Your election command center, sorry about that. And we will be bringing you all that you need to know. Indeed, we're crunching the numbers here. We're doing the analysis as and when the numbers come in. I have Steve Anti here with me still, and Johnny Hughes as well. And indeed, it's been an interesting one.
It's been an interesting...
clearly affecting my...
I know. I mean, we have a few more days to go.
Yes.
I mean, if, for example, it doesn't go into a runoff when we're done. But if there is a runoff, it's a whole new ball game. But we've had some figures coming in. We've looked through quite a number of them. I've just pulled up the results, presidential results for Damango constituency. Damango has been a very contentious place because of the incumbent MP Adam Mutawakilu, who is a member of the Energy Committee of Parliament, came up against the Deputy Chief of Staff Abu Jinapo,
that's right,
who were told by the figures won. But this is the presidential, and as the presidential show, John Dramani Mahama in Damango had quite a lot more than President Akufo-Addo, who is at 12,000 plus, whilst John Dramani Mahama is at 16,000 plus. This is an indication that the people of Damango voted skirt and blouse, which means that they like the member of parliament, but they don't like to vote for the presidential candidate of the party the member of parliament comes from, and they would rather vote for the NDC presidential candidate. So as we progress with the collation of the data and results coming, we'll get to figure out how the skirt and blouse phenomenon shaped the 2020 election outcomes, as we've seen in Damango. There have been other places, for example, Fomena. If we look closely at the data in Fomena where the independent candidate won, there is a likelihood that they voted also massively for the president there, because it's been traditionally a stronghold of the MPP. But do we have anything to pan us back to previous performances for Damango, for example?
2012, Damango, Albert K. Diwura, 7,041, representing 42.1%. Now, Adam Mutawakilu of the NDC had 9,508, that's 56.79. Abubakar Fogo, 60 votes, that's 0.36. Liman Ibrahim, 61.36%, that's Abdul A. Shiraz, 80 votes, representing 0.48%. This was in 2012, the election that saw the advent of Adam Mutawakilu, who now has become very popular and a member of the Energy Committee of Parliament, speaking vociferously for the NDC on matters of energy. And Mary, remember him from Kappa and all of those ones. Now, there's also the 2016 election where Adam Albert Kasim Diwura again is featured.
Same person.
Now, he came head-to-head with him. The votes increased, which means that the voter turnout increased, or that more people had registered at the time. But 8,139, that represented 43.79% for Albert of the NPP. And the NDC's Adam Mutawakilu had 10,263, that's representing 55.22%. Suleiman Hamdal, CPP had 72 votes, and also Abdul Rashid Lawal had 112, that's representing 0.60%. That's what we have here. We're still putting together the 2020 figures, but indication we're getting in terms of provisional results indicate that Jinapo, Deputy Chief of Staff Abu Jinapo, had been able to win his election provisionally. That's what we're told. So Adam Mutawakilu may just be kissing the House of Parliament a goodbye, because it was it expected, was it not? The campaigns were fierce, very fierce. Adam Mutawakilu was of the opinion that, well, he is a grounds person. He grew up there. He has been with the people. He has been their MP. They love him. They celebrate him. He speaks for them. So there was no way he was going to lose. He's a grassroots person. On the contrary, Mr. Abu Jinapo, who had come in at the time, has a bit of his maternal roots from Damango.
The mother is from Damango.
His paternal roots is from Yape Kasogu, where his big brother is member of parliament.
That's
so technically,
Bupe area,
area. So now the two of them are in parliament.
They are in parliament.
If the results we're getting.
So as you can see, he could have contested his brother, but didn't do that.
He didn't do that, and for good reason. He didn't do that because if you look at the demographics and dynamics, and if you like the tribal sentiments of the people around the north, they see themselves as one people.
Definitely.
You know,
so
very interlocked.
You can't be seen
my
to
mother's father's brother, sister, uncle, they connect like that. And so it wouldn't have made sense political sense for him to have gone there,
brother.
you know, to contest his brother.
But I think that the case at Damango also got a bit murky for the NDC because of the emergence of the independent candidate from the ranks
of the NDC.
This obviously must have cost Mutawakilo. And when Ben Epson made the projection that Mutawakilo might lose the seat, it was a serious issue in the media because his team actually spoke up and, you know, debunked this and called it all sorts of names. But it appears that the projections had come out to be exactly what it was expected to be. That Adam Mutawakilo
pulled some of
exactly.
Right.
So the dynamics of Damango could be a reflection of what is across the country in many of the constituencies that we're getting the results. I will take a closer look at the figures when they come in to know. I am interested really to know the effect of the skirt and blouse and the effect of the independent candidates on the chances of the incumbents, because that's going to be the new threat. You know, we're talking about GUM being the third force, but it does appear that independent candidates who came out of their parties to contest actually hurt the parties rather than enhance the chances.
Laura is one key example of what happened in Laura. And now.
So what do you have
and we saw you know, candidates hurting their own in the 2016 election. I'll demonstrate to you in a bit how the Greater Accra region was hurt. The NPP was hurt someplace around the Klote constituency that saw the election of Dr. Zaneto Ajima Rawlings into Parliament. In 2016, Valentino Nino Enote, who's been very active in the campaign lately, had issues with lawyer Philip Addison in having been passed to contest on the ticket of the NPP. In fact, he went to court and back and forth, and it was ruled in favor. This was the result in 2016. Now, watch closely. It was not so wide a margin because Dr. Zaneto Ajima Rawlings, the incumbent MP, who is also in the race, daughter of the founder of the party, had 33,609. That represented 50.29% of the votes cast. Philip Addison, who had represented the president in that election petition and he had earned popularity, prominence in the party, also contested. But Nino Enote thought that, well, he had served as a local executive. He knew the people, he knew the constituency. Where did Philip Addison come from to have come to take him out? So he said, let me go independent. And even though he had gone independent, his colors that he chose to use for his flyer or muffler, whatever it is, his emblem, were purely MPP colors, save a small green that he put in there, trying to maybe woo the NDC and woo the MPP in the middle. In the end, he got 3,911. That's 5.85 votes. Now, add 3,911 to 29,122, and obviously you're beating Zaneto Ajima Rawlings. Because if you add 1 to it, that's 30,000. If you add a 2, you're beating Zaneto hands down. So he split some votes there, and Zaneto didn't get it. But I'm sure he learned his lessons, and now he's actively in it, maybe to show himself later. We'll get to see how Mr. Lawyer Deborah, and Zaneto are playing it out in that Klote constituency.
But Johnny, the internal wranglings of parties and how it affects their fortunes. I mean, it always beats my imagination and my comprehension why parties never seem to learn their lesson. I was discussing that with Mr. Ahim. Because, I mean, 2016, the NDC obviously suffered from that. And now you've seen that happen to the NPP. And when you look at Laura, I think I mentioned Laura again. I mean, when we go to the Laura slide, definitely we'll see how that played out. And now Bidzidine stands a chance of, winning that. Obviously, because the independent, the person who went independent
had come from within the fold.
Exactly, and he had now supported him, and so definitely he's brought back his numbers to complement that of BTD?
It's gone beyond just people defecting or people expressing their sentiments and disagreements and showing that, well, they have a bit of resentment. It's gone beyond that. We saw that in the run-up to the MPP primaries and in the thick of things. People were actually invoking deities and cursing, slaughtering rams and using champagnes and standing in rivers and lakes and incantations were being said. Well, people were doing all manner of things. Now it only goes to fuel the concept that look, people assume that once they have served a party, whether they are qualified or not, that sense of patronage should be there. The reward system must come to them. So not necessarily about putting your best foot forward. They think that there's a queue. It's gotten to my turn. I cannot wait for anybody else to go. Even if it serves the larger interest of the party, I must go. And that's where political funding comes in. Because if I'm rich in a constituency and I fund your campaign or I fund a party with the hope of becoming a member of parliament at some point, and it gets to the point where I want to go and contest, and you tell me there's a person with a PhD who has come, who can serve our interests better, represent us better in parliament, I would not agree. So that's the kind of thing that we keep seeing around. And the parties never do learn. Yes, they never do learn because look at what we're showing you from Clotte constituency, for example. I mean, I experienced Joshua Roxing, and I knew there was no way he was going to get anything. Because he had said, like we're hearing from others, that he was going to do a high-rise, 3 flat high-rise buildings for the constituents who didn't have any place to sleep. Then we put the question to him, Alfred and I, at the Osumo, how much is it going to cost? He says 20 million US euros.
How are you going to fund it?
Whoever put that together, I mean, before Damango, there was Joshua Roxing. So that was it. I knew he was not going to get anything there. But clearly, look at what Valentino got. Look at what Philip Addison got. Put it together, and clearly the NDC wouldn't have had a chance. If we backtrack to 2012, clearly you can tell that the NDC had it. But also, the NDC, Mr. Ashite, was not too happy because he thought that, well, the dynamics of, Daneto being the daughter of the founder had been used against him in trying to get it, even though the margin that he got was not so wide. And that same margin repeated itself in 2016. So it's close. And particularly for this year's election, Mr. Deborah, who is an indigenous of the place, keeps saying NLA Shia Sunday, which means that this is a local matter. So to play a bit of a tribal card in there. Will it wash? Will it not wash? We'll wait
to find out.
Yes, I mean, talking about indigene, Ezenato was born, grew up in the constituency as well. So, although by her parental heritage she's more Ashanti than ever, she has lived in that community for a while and has drawn the support base of her father, sincerely, because I grew up in the constituency also, and I know how the constituents held Rawlings in high esteem. I mean, having lived in the castle and going to school in nearby communities, she's more like a people's person also, and is on the ground. So I'm looking up strongly to what the outcome of the 2020 results will be for Clotte College, to see whether Zenato has a higher chance of maintaining, retaining her position, or it will exchange hands.
But then, Steve, again, even though Dr. Zaneto Ajima Rawlings had grown up in the area, everybody knew them, they had lived at the castle, they are rich residents. We also do know that up until recently, the settlements around the area, Adabraka, of course, which was the most populous in that constituency, comes in, and then there's the Osu area,
Osu township.
That two blocks of the Osu area. One that shows you the Oxford streets, the niceties, the high-rise buildings, the fries and the ice creams. It shows you those ones. Then you go to the proper Osu township.
Mambi, where Ashanti and Anoho and those
night
areas.
Markets, you get a cake and pork, you're going to those corners. And you find the people on the beaches. And there seems to be some disconnect in terms of what do you call it, development.
Sure.
I mean, Henry Herbert Lati of the GCPP has his home there. It's a white tower. It's a citadel on its own. But right where it is, you can tell the disconnect.
Right.
So Zaneto grew up in the constituency, but the people, up until she stepped out and started taking on traits like her father to step into the gutter, to meet the June 3 disaster folks and to talk to them, develop an app and gather women and children. The people saw her to be a bourgeois and not a proletariat. Now, Deborah
which she is, a daughter of a president and a head of state.
Well,
you know,
but she doesn't want to fall in that line. She wants her political fortunes to shine brighter than what her forebears have done. Deborah comes to the table as a man who had played at Lokoto and done Juloke Police with the people. So when he talks about Chiasami, he's talking about it from that point of view. These are the two candidates that have come up. So irrespective of what policies that they are putting up to the people are not looking, who can I easily associate with? Who can I easily run to? Who is easily accessible to me? And how can I easily, rub shoulders with? That's what the electorates are looking at. They're not looking at policy printed on paper, black and white. They're not looking at that.
Which is still the same language in Lejikuku, clearly. It's coming up, very, very much the same way. But again, you can't change your heritage. You can't change your heritage. And so the fact that, yes, Dr. Zanato was born to a certain kind of, family is not lost on people. And the same thing with, the gentleman seeking to contest against her. And so definitely those are some things she would need to grapple with and see how best she can deal with them in terms of strategy moving forward. And so indeed, there are some real challenges there for the good doctor to deal with, definitely.
So, well, we're hoping. I mean, some folks, electoral watchers, had tipped her to be, if you like, a vice presidential candidate. Well, they picked her. She's about 42, so she qualifies to do it. But then the question is, will the party pick Ezaneto to be the vice presidential candidate, given the fact that there are other persons who have expressed interest in that particular thing. So let's see how it goes.
That's a tricky one.
We're following through, but this is your election command center, live on TV3 and also live on 3FM 92.7 across platform. We are on Nia FM 95.1, Connect FM 97.1 in Takrady, Akoma FM 87.9 in the Ashanti region, Kumasi, close to the mall, and also on 3news.com and Onia TV. So you're getting every detail you need here. Once it drops, we pop it. Once it happens, we tell you about it. And we're not just telling you about it, we're showing you pictures. We're taking and giving you a cursory tour of West Wing, particularly where we have our data center that's showing you our young, enthusiastic, smart, sharp-brained, bold youngsters who are putting up the figures and making sure that our expert team of statisticians get to do the analysis and get to do the right projections for you. We're also getting you Ballot 360, where we do all the fact checking that's happening, and we also have Ground Zero that will have the one-on-one conversations with the big fishes. We have Social Pulse that will tell you what's trending on social media. When we come in here, we have a data hub where we will be playing with the figures and juggling with it. Political statistics at its best play. We have the best in the industry, Dr. Naughty, Dr. Sasanti. We have a pack of statisticians as well, watching from afar, engaging the mood and measuring up the things. And then we have Decision 2020, where we are now. So 7 studios, all at it, making sure that you are getting the best of the best in the constituency. I saw Sujaman.
Yeah, I was trying to pull out some of the constituencies to watch so that we can run through them whilst we wait. Abena will be connecting us to the NDC party office, where we're expecting a press conference currently to be held.
I hear this year the terminology changed. It changed from comfortable lead to flipping.
Well,
yeah, I mean, so the NDC will hold an emergency press briefing. We'll tell you about it shortly. Once it starts, we will let you know. We'll connect you to it. And live pictures will come on your screen right now to tell you how the NDC is preparing. Abla?
Right, so the NDC is preparing for a press briefing, and you have the shots on your screens currently, and we will be linking up definitely to get the sounds as well, to know exactly what their concerns are regarding this press briefing. Obviously, I think this would be press briefing number 3 since the elections, and indeed since the coverage. So we will be bringing you all that you need to know regarding the press briefing from the NDC, which will be held at the party head office. We understand some of the NDC party faithfuls. They include Mr. Kakra Samoa, Honorable Fifi Kwete, and some bigwigs from the party. And so once we link up with them, we'll definitely see who are present. The NDC has earlier on held about 2, and I believe the last one was where they indicated that they had flipped 36 seats. And they were sure of victory. And so we'll see what they have to tell us now at their upcoming press briefing. And do note that after the press conference that the NDC held just before this one that they're about to hold, the NPP also held a press conference and put out some statements as well with a view to counter the statements that had been made by or at the press briefing organized by the NDC. We understand we'll be crossing over to the Volta region for some updates as well. So as and when we're ready, we will do the linking up to bring you up to speed with all that you need to know. So this is your Election Command Center. We are bringing you all that matters in respect of the December 7, 2020 elections. This is today is the 8th of December, a day after the elections, and we are optimistic that the EC would be doing all that it needs to do to meet its target of declaring the results within 24 hours. We will be speaking with Selom Amenya to also give us some updates regarding, what he has for us. So let's go to Selom Amenya.
It's in the Volta region.
About now in the Volta region, very well. Let's see what is happening there. Because we're expecting some constituencies, the numbers to come in from some constituencies. You do know that the Volta region is a stronghold of the NDC, and so the numbers coming from there at this point in time could be crucial. It could have an impact on the pattern or the trend as we have it currently. So Selom Amenya will be linking up with him shortly. He is in the Volta region. I think, yes, there's a bit of a delay there, but well, we are.
Volta region is crucial. Yeah. You do know that for the 2 leading parties, NDC has its stronghold as the Volta region, but we do know that we
understand that is it the press briefing from Selom Amenya, yes, in the Volta region, is ready to take us away. So Selom, carry on.
Are being collated, and as if you can see what has been projected behind me, so far only 2 constituencies have been received by the EC regional office here in the Volta region. We have Adaklu, where the NPP garnered 1,967. The NDC also garnered 13,250. And also Pando has been received. All right, so we are told that the NDC is having a press conference in Accra. So we are handing you over to the NDC headquarters in Accra. We'll come back for more updates.
And some important constituencies that the NDC has flipped. Since then, and very typical of our opponents, they've held a press conference during which they sought to peddle falsehood and throw dust into the eyes of the general public about the true results relative to this year's elections. And so we have called you here to, first of all, set the record straight relative to the issues they have raised about parliamentary results and whether or not they have parliamentary majority as we speak. Secondly, about whether or not they control the northern part of the country as they claim. Thirdly, whether or not they are leading in the presidential elections as they claim. These are issues that we need to set the record straight. And aside that, update you on more results that have come in that we have collated and how the global figure is looking like, both for parliamentary and presidential. So, ladies and gentlemen of the media, I have the honor to invite to the podium our elections director, Honorable Elvis Efri-Ankra, to once again address us about these issues. He will first of all set the record straight relative to the claims the MPP have made in the last few hours about the presidential and parliamentary election results, and also update you on new results that have come in, both in the parliamentary and also in the presidential election. So let's welcome Honorable Elvis Efri-Ankra.
Thank you very much, Sammy, and greetings to all comrades behind me, and thank you for your endurance. We have started and we'll finish together. So as Sammy said, since our last press briefing, our opponents have made some desperate attempts to throw dust into the eyes of Ghanaians. The first point we want to state clearly, emphatically, and unambiguously is that it is not true that the MPP has majority in Parliament. Currently, we are leading with 140 seats. 140 seats. Parliamentary seats. And I'm going to go into the details pretty soon. It is not true that the MPP is leading in the 3 northern regions. We won 14 out of 15 in Upper East region. We won 8 out of 11 constituencies in the northern region. We won in the Upper West region. In the northern region, we won 9 out of 18 constituencies. So let me just go into the details and then we'll see. In the Upper West region, we have 8 seats. In the Upper East region, we have 14 seats. In the Northeast, we have 2. In the Northern region, we have 9. In the Bono region, we have 6. In the Ahafo region, we have 2. In Bono East, we have 9. In the Western region, we have 9. In the Western North region, we have 7. In the Greater Accra region, we have 20. In the Central region, we have 13. In Oti region, we have 8. In the Volta region, we have 17. In the Savannah region, we have 4. In the Eastern region, we have 8. And in the Ashanti region, we have 4. That makes it 140 parliamentary majority. And there are still a few ones that are in contention. So we believe that this number is going to appreciate. Now, you need to understand, if you understand electoral politics, that wherever, except in a very few cases, a couple of cases, wherever the parliamentary candidate wins, the presidential candidate also wins. And more often than not, the presidential candidate gets more votes than the parliamentary candidate. So it is absurd for anybody in the face of these facts to say that in spite of the fact that we are leading in the parliamentary, we have won regions, constituencies that we've never won before. We have won swing regions, the key swing regions, Greater Accra, Central, the Western Enclave. We have won them and turned them around. Seats that we've never won before, as we said earlier. We have flipped around almost 38 seats So how can anybody say that in the face of this they are leading? Again, when it comes to the presidential...
Honorable, the breakdown for parliamentary constituencies.
Yes. Oh, the names of the constituencies? Yes. Okay. So, good. So, let me just go to the specific constituencies. Parliamentary seats won by the NDC in the Upper West region. Wa East, Wa West, Wa Central, Nadoli Kalio, Sisala West, DBI, Laura, Jirapa. Parliamentary seats won in the Upper East region. Bolgatanga Central, Bolgatanga East, Boku Central, Bongo, Bilsa North, Bilsa South, China Paga, Garu, Nabdam, Tempani, Bongo itself, Talensi, Zebila, and Pusiga. Constituencies NDC won in the Northeast. We won Bunkrugu and Nalerigu. There is contention over one, but we'll jump that. When it's sorted, we'll come back to it. Parliamentary seats won by the NDC in the Northern region. Wulensi, Savelugu, Kumungu, Bandai, Saboba, Tamale South, Tamale Central, Tamale North, Sanarigu. Parliamentary seats won by the NDC in Bono, Banda, Doma West, Wenchi, German North, German South, Time. Constituencies NDC won in the Eastern region: Akwetia, Yilo Krobo, Upper Manya, Lower Manya, Esuo Jamain, Ayensuano, Afram Plains North, and Afram Plains South. Fantiapa, there's some contention. We believe that by noon it will be resolved. Constituencies NDC won in Ahafo, Esutifi South, and Esunafo South. Constituencies NDC won in Bono East, Kintampo North, Nkranza South, Nkranza North, Sene East, Sene West, Pru East, Atebubu, Techiman North, and Techiman South. Constituencies NDC won in the Western North region. In the Western region first: Jomoro, Elembele, Evalejura, Pristia Huni Valley, Wasa East, Amenfi Central, Amenfi East, Amenfi West, and Takwa. Constituencies the NDC won in the Western North region: Sefiri also, Awowin, Bia East, Bia West, Bodi, Joaboso, and Shamai. Now the 21 parliamentary seats in Greater Accra won by the NDC. 20. Adan, Sege, Ningo Prampram, Bonkatamanso, Shayo Sudoku, Tema East, Ashiaman, Krowa, Lejokuku, Odododiodio, Klote Kole, Ladade Kotopon, Ayawaso East, Ayawaso North, Okankwe North, Madina, Adenta, Ablekuma Central, Ablekuma South, and Domiabra, Ubum. Seats won by the NDC in the Central region: Cape Coast North, Cape Coast South, Krifu Etimokwa, Gomwa East, Ewutu Senya West, Gomwa West, Ejumakon, Ekunfi, Asen North, Upper Dentra West, Agona East, and Commander Edina Eguafo Abrim. Constituencies NDC won in Savannah region: Bole, Yape Kusogu, Salaga South, and Sola Tuna Kalba. Seats the NDC won in the Ashanti region: Aswase, New Edubiase, Ejura, and Drobonso. And in Volta region, out of the 18, we lost just one. We won 17 constituencies. So the trajectory is clear. Indeed, based on our figures that we have, we are leading in the Greater Accra region, in the presidential, we're leading in the Western Enclave, we're leading in the Bono Enclave, and we are confident that by the time we compile the rest of the presidential candidates, we'll be in pole position to be the ones that will become the president, John Mahama, will be the president of the republic. And because we're already controlling parliament. Now, we are aware of the tricks the MPP is playing to change results by ordering recounts of ballots at the collation center, which is illegal. If you want to recount, there's a process that you have to go through. The first recount, you must request for it at the polling station. When that is done, then you request, if you are not satisfied, you have to request for the second collation at the polling station. But that is done at the collation center. We've had situations where there were no recounts at all ab initio, and then they go to the collation center and they insist on recounts. And by the time those recounts start, then funny things happen. Ballot boxes are swapped. We've had situations where in Sefi, ballot box was swapped. Where so many others. So we see that as a strategy, that because they know they are losing, they use the recount, and then in the process they do all kinds of things. That is why we're calling on people to be at the collation centers to support our agents, because sometimes you have only 2 or 3 agents there and they come and mass up with their macho men, beat up our people. So we need the numbers there. There have been shootings at various collation centers. We need people to be there to ensure that we are on the trajectory of victory. So again, we also have intelligence, and again, we have proven to you that anytime we say we have intelligence, when we told you that we have intelligence about ballot papers, people doubted it. Yesterday, you saw many people were arrested live.